Aquarius, welcome. Thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you for spending some time out of your day to watch this video. I really truly appreciate that. I'm doing your September love reading. I don't know if it'll be a message for singles or for someone if you're already involved. Most likely already involved, but we'll see. The theme of the video is obviously will be determined once I finish the reading. So if you've clicked on this video because of the title, then it's meant for you. Hopefully there's something that resonates deeply for you. So before I start, thank you so much for liking, sharing and subscribing, of course. And if you want to comment, it'll be my pleasure to read what you have to say. I'm starting with a major arcana to see what the overall energy is for you for the month. I apologize. I left the windows opened and there are many trucks outside today, so you will hear some noise. This is the Hanged Man, so it's called the C in this deck. In September, you're in a situation where you have to wait. It's not something that maybe you are choosing per se. But let's see what that is, really, why. Especially the fact that it might not be intentional. That it might not be coming from you and that you might have to deal with the circumstances. So I'm pulling only uprights in this deck. It's a choice. Let's see. The Two of Wands, definitely a situation where you need to wait. It's like you're on the threshold of, let's say symbolically speaking, you're on a threshold. You could have maybe a situation where you feel you're at a crossroads. There might be a huge decision, as in it's definitely a decision, but this one might be more important than usual, more significant for you. But you're not, for some reason, you might be in a position because of the Hangman here. It's not time, it's not the circumstances are not right for you to even make the choice about which direction you're going to go in. I'm hoping that ultimately you have the choice. I still am thinking that I hope you don't have to make a choice, you know, a little bit like, not to say that someone else would make the choice for you, but sometimes circumstances push you in a direction that you feel you haven't chosen. So it might be like that. It might feel like this to you. We'll see. What's this about, really? The Five of Wands. Okay. More conflict here. The reason why you need to wait is to avoid conflict. There's a situation that's going to cause you grief. Not grief in the sense of being sad, but it's going to aggravate you. It's going to trigger you, or it might trigger you if you decide to make a move or make a decision in September, per se. It almost feels like intuitively you know to stay still, to maybe wait. Not maybe, because you need to wait. You have to. But you're sensing intuitively that this is the right thing to do. It feels like a sacrifice, or at least the impression that it's very demanding, like it's sort of, it's requiring an effort on your part, maybe. Especially if you feel in any way that you might feel like it's irritating. So you could be irritated yourself about having to wait, having to put something on the back burner, having to not choose, or specifically having the impression that others are choosing for you, if that's the case. That truly, really bothers you. but for some reason you're choosing not to act on it or not to respond. You're choosing to stay calm, or you might even put yourself in a position of like removing yourself, even physically speaking. We have the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Wands. So this change on the horizon for sure. So with the wheel, you might really feel like things are not in your hands, that the decisions are not yours. You might also feel that a lot of the changes are triggered or specifically by a person that shows up. It's not someone that's around you. It's not someone that's consistently part of your environment. They're not. This person seems to come in quickly, leave quickly in September. There's someone that's influential in their own respect, in the sense that they bring change. They have a very sort of whirlwind, or let me put it differently. They have this thing about, it has to do with the fact that they show up unexpectedly, or they show up, they arrive quickly. So whether you know that they're arriving or not, it's irrelevant. They're not here to stay. So mainly what you need to remember is that it's short and sweet maybe, and it's also intense when it's happening. But it gives you really the impression of spinning you around to the point of feeling left, you're upside down. It could be that you're in a situation where someone really turns your life around for you, but not in necessarily a good way. Because it seems to be on the main energy is conflictual. The main energy is like something that troubles you. It's very unsettling. I really believe that you're reacting in a very passive way on the Hangman purposely. It feels like it gives me the impression that you think it's your only sort of defense. You might be wrong. I don't know if what's right or wrong here. I don't know if it's the right attitude, but that's what you're choosing in September. It could be because you do feel like you can't stop, for one, this person from coming and going. You might have a hard time keeping this person from walking into your life, because the Two of Wands here feels like a doorway, and the fact that we have the wheel, it's like the revolving door. So, and you have someone that keeps coming in, coming out all the time. So it feels like you might not be able to stop this person from coming and going in this way. Like, you wish you could keep them at bay, but I don't think that you can. For some reason, I don't want to say you're accepting of this, but you might feel a little bit resigned when it comes to accepting, or at least realizing that you can't really stop this person from doing that. So I'm not saying that you're in agreement, not at all. I can really sense that you're not. But for some reason, maybe you're accepting the fact that you can't help it, that you can't do anything. Or just accepting the fact that you're helpless. It's not an easy situation, especially in a situation where there's true conflict between the two of you, and maybe even involving others. It could be that when this person comes in, they might be dragging with them more problems than just one. You know what I mean? The kind of person that's really a mixed bag, and also the kind of person that creates problems for you. That's why there's more than one. So even if they come for one thing, or they come with one angle, or they come at you from one angle, they're gonna find other ways to, I don't know, it feels like they want to make things worse. Because there's this energy here of wanting to set fire to something, even just you. So they might want to set you on fire, symbolically speaking, meaning they want to get a reaction out of you. So it's not at all literal. I'm being very careful about that. It's figurative. But let's see what the oracle says about your dynamic here, because this is not a well-intended person, for sure. I don't sense that at all. I feel that this person is a taker. These cards, 3 of them. We have, paranoia, craziness, and troubles. This is what this person is, this is what they're trying to strike in you. They're trying to create conflict, inner conflict, make you feel paranoid. They really want you to feel like you're losing your mind, or, you know, they're turning you upside down. So they want you to not recognize your landmarks and your environment the way you used to. They want to destabilize you. Oof, not a good energy at all. But then, oh yeah, look. And someone that is intrusive, an ex, but someone very shady, shadowy. Ooh, this is really someone that you don't want to deal with. So this Knight of Wands, mainly Sagittarius energy, first deacon for those who want to really work with, you know, specific energies, mainly first deacon, but it's first and second deacons. And then there's future anticipation and preparation. So we already saw that on the Two of Wands, the fact that, you know, you're expecting this. I think to the point that you yourself has already adopted the mindset, or that you've sort of mainly intuitively know to stay passive, not to react, because you don't want to fall into the trap of being angered or triggered, or, you know, but you are anticipating this. You know it's going to happen in September. You're preparing yourself. I mean, it has its positive, but again, I really feel that you're powerless. So be careful with this energy, because sometimes when you don't act either, basically you're giving room for this to play out. Let me pull an oracle again. I want to see what the Knight of Wands is really truly after. Besides knowing that he wants to really make you feel paranoid and really mess up your thinking, play with your shadow. So anything, all the lower vibration energies, you know, they want to put you in fear. If you're paranoid, you're fearful. If you feel crazy, it's because you're confused about what's right, what's wrong. You don't know what's, you know, you don't even know how to trust your intuition anymore. Any other feelings of, well, the anger is very present. That's what they're trying to they want you to behave out of character, that's for sure. But let's see what the oracle says really about the intention of this Knight of Wands. It speaks of union. Okay, but in this case, we know what kind of union. The Knight of Wands is typically a union that is only sexual, physical in nature. So it's about taking from you, using you. It speaks of the embrace here. The other keyword for this is union up here, which is translate the same in English and in French, but this is the embrace, l'étreinte. You know, it could also be that if you have a sexual encounter with this person, watch out, because I think that you're gonna, it could be that you're having this Knight of Wands could be your ex for one. But if you have this experience, it's gonna leave you in a very bad state of mind. I think it's gonna do everything that you don't want it to do for you, meaning you're not going to feel valued, you're not going to feel honored, you're not going to feel respected, you're not going to feel loved. It feels like it's everything, it's the opposite, because everything is in the reverse, right? Let's look at what what Tarot says here a little more. I want to see, I didn't see the card, but it came out. The question is, or the intent is, I want to see, because you're so passive here, I want to see if it's really the best course of action, and if not, what could be. The Ace of Swords. So communication would be good. Telling the truth is important. Being of integrity is important. Also being lean in your communication, being concise. Don't say too much. Stick to the facts. Stick to the things that you know are bulletproof. Don't meander into things that, don't put in too much emotions where you would lose yourself. Stick to things that you know are verifiable. It also speaks of being, I love this card because this is my impeccability card. I think it's very important to stay impeccable. As in, like, if you know the four, I don't even know how to say this in English. Anyways, I was gonna bring up in French we call them les quatre accords Toltec. So it's like from the Incas and the Mayas, there's a philosophy about the four corner principles of life as per the Toltecs. I don't even know if that's the right translation, but one of them is impeccability, meaning you should be always at your truest in any circumstance. And also try to behave in the best possible way, right? So it permeates every aspect of life. So making sure that you take pristine care of yourself, obviously bodily, like eating well, sleeping well, exercising, etc. But even in your speech, in your demeanor, in your actions. So I'm very glad to see that. But I'm also weary of it because it's a little bit of a piercing energy, and I want you to remember how this Knight of Wands comes in, right? Comes in very quickly, comes in like it's a sporadic, it's a one-off. So even the Ace is speaking of like one day, one night, only a small amount of time. Small window, very precise window. So be careful that it's not something that it's so quick, it's like a flash, that you need to be prepared, and you need to make sure that it doesn't become like a situation where you're being sort of, I'm gonna say, poked at, or basically I've told you that this person has a way of breaching you in a sense, right? They come in, they scramble you, they mess you up, they sort of trigger you, they turn you upside down, they make you feel, they shift your perspective in a way that you're at their mercy, or you're malleable, that you're impressionable as well. Because you're not in the right frame of mind, you're going to feel paranoid about something. You're going to feel this is very intrusive. This is what I'm getting at. The Ace of Swords becomes very intrusive. So there's something to be said here about the intentions of the Knight of Wands are very precise. So if you were wondering, this person is acting with one idea in mind. It's very concentrated. So I don't think it's not a good intention at all. For me, it's wanting something from you. It's wanting something physical with you, but also leaving you in a frame of mind afterwards that is really detrimental to you. Basically, they're out there to use you, or mess you up, or sort of mix you up, like make you feel shooken. I'm curious to see this energy of the Knight of Wands. I want to see who they are. They're the botanist, the gardener, if you want. It speaks of parental, being a parent, and it speaks of heredity. The parental figure, this is strange for me. I'm not sure how that ties in. I don't believe that, because we're doing a love reading. This is not a family member, but it does speak of having somewhat family ties to this person. So is that a metaphor? Is that symbolic? Does that mean it's someone in your network? Let me clarify. Okay, this is someone who is actually sort of, how do we say this? Le veilleur, to translate this word, is like saying the vigil, someone who's actually surveilling. And it speaks of consciousness and reflection, as in being in thought, like being reflective. Okay. It's interesting because I feel that the person who could be reflective, it's you, because I think you are anticipating this meeting. I think you're anticipating that this person will operate in this way, come in quickly, sort of try to disturb you and your energy, try to trigger you mostly. It has to do with some form of they might want to trigger you on the basis of something that pertains to your own family. It could be. Maybe it wakes up like the craziness and paranoia and the troubles could be family related. You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of maybe someone that's coming in to break your family, or as in, let's say you're already coupled. It would be someone who is trying to seduce you, definitely, but also to bring maybe chaos to to bring conflict to your couple, to your existent relationship, and or family life in general if you're not coupled. But it's funny that I don't really associate this Knight of Wands with being the gardener per se. So that's a strange energy. Maybe there's something about out in nature. It is Sag energy, so it could be someone that you meet. Flowers are important. I think that this person could actually bring you flowers. It's funny. Which is very romantic, but in this case, it wouldn't be done necessarily. It would be done more to be able to get to you, to breach you. Like I said, it's like an opening. I don't feel it's sincere, unfortunately. That's my take on it. Especially with the energy of being the vigil, right? Being someone that is on the lookout, that waits. I don't know, it's a strange one. It almost feels like someone who's waiting, like almost like a trap. It's not a trap, but it feels like someone who's waiting for you. Waiting for the right moment to strike with the Ace of Swords. And also with the Ace of Swords, they're definitely trying to mess up with your... It's mainly your mental... It has to do with your mental state. And the parts of shadow, of like, especially like if you're not well acquainted with your own shadow parts, you know, like if there's anything that you've been pushing down, this person might know, right? It might have to do with family memories from the past. They might want to poke at that, trigger that specifically. They know that about you. They might want to bring this up. Anyways, I'm sorry to read this with the angle of someone that is not wanting your best interest, but I do see the conflicts that they bring, and I do see the fact that, you know, it is intrusive. It is playing with your shadows. And it brings you a lot of... it makes you really, really weary. So watch out for that. Let me pull you one card for maybe just something that would be positive. I think that being in integrity for you is very important. Try to, if you need to speak up, you may, but try to stay concise. Try to stay factual as well. And try to stay in control, mainly. So let's see on the positive side of that, the fact that you might have a lot more... In a situation where you have no control, let's say you might have a little bit of control over yourself. And let's see how that's positive as well. Great. So the energy that came out for you is this 9 of Fire. Which in this deck, it's very different from, you know, the tarot. So I will look it up and read for you. So the 9 of Fire here. The keywords are, so this beautiful card. The keywords, so in terms of you staying true to yourself and making sure you watch your communication. So what helps you here is the keywords are attainment, fruition, inspiration, creation, ease, simplicity, detachment, and restrictions. The key phrases are move through life with confidence. It says a time of fruition and attainment. It speaks of knowledge and experience bring ease. Do not speak praise or affirmation. No, do not seek praise or affirmation. That's a good one. It doesn't matter what this person thinks of you. You're not there to please them per se, you're not there to praise them either, but mostly you don't need them to praise you or reinforce who you are. You need to know that for yourself. But let's see what the other key phrases are. It says, give your best every time. I did mention that. Once you have finished, move on. Simplify your life. Remove obstructions and restrictions. So you really don't want to fall into this trap of anything complicated, chaotic, messy, and that's just there to create problems for you. So those are the restrictions that you need to evacuate. Staying true to yourself will help. Also, speaking your truth. Even if you do it alone and you want to use affirmations, this card spoke of confidence and affirmations. I think it had specifically this word, mentioned it anyways. So, not an easy month at all. You need to really stand your ground in a way. You're not doing so in a very... You need to have more confidence, I think, is what you need to remember, because you do need to defend yourself. So you're choosing the passive, you're choosing to stay passive, but remember, you might also want to not let others use that against you. The fact that you're passive, that you're letting things unfold, you might want to at least get some of your power back. Don't give it away fully. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for showing up, liking the video, of course, sharing, and maybe subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate that. I'll see you on the next one.